Jesus was for the golden rule. That is, do unto others as you've had them do unto you. I'll say it again. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In one instance, an expert in the law asked Jesus, well, who is my neighbor? And Jesus tells the famous parable, the parable of the Good Samaritan. And in this parable, a Jewish man is riding from Jerusalem to Jericho. Now, first of all, in this story, historians tell us that this was a very deadly and dangerous route to take, especially if you're traveling by yourself, because this was known to have thieves and robbers and murderers on this road. And so this man who hurt himself, and in essence was reckless, but he was traveling this road and he got robbed and left for dead. And Jesus tells the story, and all this crowd is listening. These religious leaders are listening. The expert in the law is listening. He said a priest walks by and looks at him. Well, who is a priest? A priest is a person who goes to God on behalf of the people. He walks right by him, does nothing. Who is the next person that comes by? A Levite. A Levite is someone who is part of the priestly family of God. And he looks at the man, he walks by, does nothing. And these are the people in the story who would have been the heroes if it was being told by one of the Jewish religious leaders. But the third person comes, and Jesus says, and a Samaritan walks by. Whoa. The moment Jesus said a Samaritan walks by, the moment the hair on their neck would have stood up, their blood pressure would have risen, because the Jews did not like Samaritans. And it actually goes way back to when the Assyrians conquered Jerusalem and said, you're coming with us, we're taking you as one of ours. So they took him in, and then when they eventually went back, a number of Jews stayed back in Assyria. This time it was Babylon, because Babylon came and took over Syria. And they stayed and they intermarried. This was a big no-no in the Hebrew culture. And so they intermarried, which was like, no, we don't do that. And then the Samaritans started being named the Samaritans. Samaritans didn't believe in all of the Hebrew scriptures. They only believed in the Torah, the first 5 books. The Samaritans believed that the temple should have been somewhere else than where the Jews thought the temple was. Anyways, there was political differences. There was theological differences. There was lifestyles in terms of marrying someone from a different culture differences, all sorts of differences. So the Jews, by the time of Jesus, hated them. In fact, if Jews were traveling, they would not go through Samaria. They would travel the Jordan River twice. They'd cross it once and they would cross it again just to avoid Samaria. They didn't want anything to do with the Samaritans. So when the Samaritan and the parable of the Good Samaritan comes by and he is the hero, that would have brought indignation to the religious leaders, to all those who were listening. Because it was this Samaritan, this degenerate, this downcast, this despised person that was the one that bandaged his wounds, that brought him to an inn, gave money to the innkeeper and said, I will be back and I'll pay you whatever else you need for his needs. After Jesus tells this parable, he looks at the expert in the law, and here's what he says. He says, who do you think was a neighbor? Expert in the law says the one who showed mercy. Now, he didn't say the Samaritan. He couldn't even get the word Samaritan out of his mouth. He was just stuck with saying the one who showed mercy. And at Restore Church, our hope is to be like Jesus. Our hope is to live like Jesus. Our hope is to love like Jesus. Our hope is to build disciples who want to honor Jesus. We want to live lives that are honoring to Jesus the best that we can. We want to show love to our neighbors, show love to the outcast, show love to the marginalized. And if you want to be a church, or you want to be part of this church that's all about Jesus, loving Jesus, living like Jesus, we invite you to be a part of Restore Church. Come check us out on the website and learn more.